Welcome to Journey On. It's another edition of What's Happening with Journey Fellowship, and we have Pastor Karl, we have me, Jim, and we have a very special guest, Pam from Bismarck. Hey, Pam.
Hey.
And yes, some important things about Pam. She is a member of our Bismarck family. Pam, you've been with the church for longer than I've been around, so I've always seen your face around the church. You and your family have always been a blessing, and it's great to have you with us. You're a new member of the board for the church out of the Bismarck
Yep.
location,
Yeah.
and Pam has some exciting news to share with us. And the most important thing about Pam tonight is she has no voice. So let's welcome her to this audio recording of everything that's happening. She's very, very gracious for you to be with us, Pam. And so, we're not forcing her to do this, right? I blink if you're in trouble because your voice is going to make it sound like you're really struggling, but you said you're feeling okay. And you've got your support kitty cat with you there, so we should be all right.
Yeah.
All right, Pam. So
Oh,
over to you. Tell us about yourself and about what's coming up with something called GPS. I'm very excited.
yeah. Well, thank you both for having me. I appreciate it. And if you feel like you can't hear me, you to repeat, then give me the sign, and I'll talk lower or try to get it out. So,
Sing the
so
blues
yeah.
for us. Yeah.
There you go. Oh man, I've got a good bass voice for us, that's for sure. So again, yeah, my name is Pam. For those that maybe don't know who I am, yes, been with the church for several years. Back when we were meeting at the Strawberry Bar in Mandan, this was going way, way back, and it's just always felt like home for
Mm.
me and my family. So it's just been a joy to be part of this church and a part of this journey. So it's been great. And then also very blessed and fortunate to be part of the worship team, which
Mm.
is the part of ministry that speaks the most to me. I mean, Karl's message is so important, but gosh, music is that's what gets me in all the feels. So
Mm.
I'm really just blessed and honored to be part of the worship team. So thank you guys for allowing me to be part of the band. It's so cool. Love it.
And most of the
It's
time, we're happy to have you. And right now, not so much.
so,
We'll give you
so
a
not being
tambourine instead. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, right. More cowbell. I can do the
There
cowbell
you
for
go.
us. Yeah.
There you go.
So, yep. So married to my husband Brian. Been together for 15 years. We've got 4 daughters between us. We number them off 1 through 4. The oldest being Maddie, and she has a little girl, a Mariana. We call her Tiggle. So we've got her in tow usually on Sundays with us. Daughter number 2 is in Fargo, and she comes to see Karl at the Fargo campus when she and her boyfriend are working on Saturdays. So, and then daughter number 3 is in Bismarck with us, Kaiten, and she's also on the worship
Mhm.
team. And then daughter number 4, Emma, she's out in Portland, Oregon with her boyfriend, and working, doing all the things, living life. So 2 dogs, 2 cats, partridge in a pear tree, and off we go. So it's a busy life. It's a wonderful. We're very blessed. Kids keep
Amen.
us busy, so we really enjoy that. So, but on to GPS. Well,
Yeah.
here's the backstory. And again, if you can't understand me, give me a sign and I'll start over.
Well, how
Um,
about this? Let's give your voice a break for a little bit because that was a great introduction. Thank you for that. And it's tough when you don't have a voice to keep talking nonstop. As a guy that does that for a living, I absolutely understand that. So how about this? So the little bit of a teaser, GPS. We're going to talk about what that is in Bismarck coming up in a bit. To lead into it, though, we can talk about some things that are happening with the church right now,
Sure.
which this is a big part of it. Number one, we recently had a couple of meetings, both in Bismarck and in Fargo. So Fargo after the service Saturday, Bismarck, same thing after the service on Sunday. And Karl,
Right.
you were at both of the meetings, and the
Yep.
focus was, from what we have talked about, it's about volunteering and kind of coordinating where we want to go as a church in
Right.
terms of what people can do to help out and how we can help facilitate that. Are you prepared, now that I'm putting you on the spot, to give maybe a quick summary of what you learned and maybe what we talked about, and of course we can speak about what's happened in Bismarck as well,
Sure.
but for sure what's happening all around the family from that perspective.
Yeah, absolutely. And so both meetings were very informal, and I like to call them brainstorming meetings
Mhm.
because what I was told about brainstorming years and years and years ago are there are no stupid questions and there are no bad ideas
Mhm.
in brainstorming. So I feel that I'm well adapted for that type of meeting, very informal. So we talked about in both places, we talked about where now that we're a growing family, where are those places where people are seeing a need, or where are those things that maybe we've outgrown as a
Mhm.
smaller church moving to a medium-sized church, as we will. Maybe there's some things we've outgrown. Maybe there are some things we're growing into. And both places we talked about childcare. So we're going to
Mhm.
up our game in childcare because God is bringing us more kids. And I said it both places too. I believe children learn how to worship by watching their adults worship. So anytime they can be in service, I love for them to be in service. But not every kid is geared to sit through those long worship sets we
Mhm.
play. You know what I mean? Yeah, I think you
and
guys can.
s- and some weeks are different than others, right? I mean, we
Right,
all have
absolutely.
there are times
Absolutely.
I struggle sitting through the music. I mean, come on. I can't
And you're
toddlers would be
drumming,
tough. Yeah,
right? You have
exactly.
to sit. And we talked about in Fargo specifically, we have a new service. It's a ministry, but it's going to be a service. It'll be on Sunday evenings. So we talked some of the logistics there about how that's going to work. Not kindergarten, Sunday school.
Okay.
Teaching the kids. Some of those areas, actually, both places are decent sized buildings, and we kind of brainstorm some ideas on keeping clean,
Mhm.
keeping the upkeep. We talked
Right.
about some furniture moving from one place to the other just to kind of help both places get
Mhm.
I believe the word that was thrown around a bit was cozy, getting a cozier feel in specifically Bismarck because there's a lot of concrete on the floor, and that's great for when you spill coffee, and maybe not
Right.
so great when you want to feel cozy. So,
So
uh,
what we could do is the weeks we don't have potluck, maybe we could have a carpet, but could we roll
yeah,
it up when we do have
roll it
potluck?
up. Yeah, there you go.
Make it easier to
Yep,
clean up.
absolutely. So just a
Yeah.
lot of variety of ideas, and the focus was as a family, this is our house.
Hmm.
This is our house. It's God's house, but it's our family's house. And so we want to anyone that comes in is coming to our house. And what does that mean? And I love the fact that at both places there were people that stayed after to talk about how do we
Right.
better serve our community? How do we better serve each other? How do we better serve God? And it was fantastic. So I kept a lot of notes, surprisingly, because I normally don't take notes, but I took a lot of notes, and I'm going to compile those, and we'll revisit it in a couple weeks.
Good. And I appreciate you facilitating those. I thought it was a great conversation that we had in Bismarck, and from what I heard, obviously Fargo also.
Yeah,
One thing, there was some feedback that we'd heard not too long ago, but a while back, that someone said, "Listen, I'd like to help, but I don't know how to go about doing that." And that was
correct.
part of the discussion that we had.
Yep,
And since we have this forum, I want to put this out there. If anybody is interested, whatever it is, if you have talent that you'd like to help share, if you have time that you'd like to share, or something that you'd like to offer to the church in Bismarck, absolutely come and talk to me, or however you get a hold of me. Uh, I am happy to help get you with the right person or have the discussion. Because I feel like I can be the available one in Bismarck. Karl, you already
yeah.
have a lot on your plate, including right now. I'm going to offer you up as the contact in Fargo, unless you already have someone.
We do. So
Okay.
I would call you, and this is a term of affection. I would call you the interim voluntary coordinator. That's what I would call
Ooh,
you, or
interim
volunteer coordinator.
interim volunteer. So the IVC. I could be the IVC.
IVC.
Yep.
And so our IVC in Fargo just happens to be someone I know very well,
Okay.
uh, very well.
All
It's my
right.
wife, so she's
Ah,
our interim volunteer
so of the
coordinator.
the two IVCs, I think we've got it covered then. So everybody knows Oz, Rhonda in Fargo.
Yep.
Does anybody know who Rhonda is in Fargo, or is she just Oz?
That's a really good question. It kind of depends on whether she's a realtor or
Right.
she's um, uh, involved with the church.
Right.
At
Yep.
church, most people know her as Oz. At her work, most people call her Rhonda. There's a few of
Gotcha.
us that float a couple other names out there, but
Rosda. Yep.
yep, hot stuff. I throw that one out there.
Yeah.
Uh,
Nope. That's you. Keep you. You're
that is
good.
pretty much
Yep.
me specific. Yeah, that's true.
That's a good plan.
But
All right. So
yeah,
just and it's there's no authority or power behind that. It's just the idea that if someone is feeling that, please
yeah,
talk to us. And any of us, Pam, I'm sure you would agree. Anybody on the board, any familiar face can get someone to someone.
yep.
But the
We can
point is,
get you
as we
someone.
continue to grow, and the ideas like welcoming,
Yeah,
making sure that we have someone that is coordinating to make folks feel that welcome that we
yep,
intend to do, but maybe sometimes don't quite know how to do it. So we're working in those directions too. So good recap. I appreciate that. And kind of leading back into GPS.
yes.
In Bismarck, we have a men's group. It's morphed over the couple years that we've been doing it. We have a Bible study that we do each week, Thursdays, 6:30. We meet at the church here in Bismarck, and we study the Bible and we check in as men living as Christian men in today's world, and we're the ordained leaders. Sometimes the other title we have is unsolicited advisors, because the accountability sometimes gets a little intense, and in absolute loving ways. And I can tell you, it's made a significant impact in my life as a husband, a father, a member of our family, all around, and a member of the community as well. And it's really had an impact, and that's been great for me. And one of the regrets that I have, I love that it's a men's group. The regret is it's a men's group. We haven't had something in along those veins up until Pam and GPS. So now that your voice has rested a bit, back to you, Miss Pam.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. And yes, the men's group was definitely the inspiration for this, because it's something that I've definitely noticed with the men in Bismarck, because I can't see the guys in Fargo, but I definitely have noticed deepening of a
Mm.
relationship between all of you. And it's like, kind of want what you got. And I think that a lot of us ladies are just craving that connection, and
Right.
but not knowing, okay, how do we get this going? I mean, look how many hats all of us wear, but
Right.
gosh, so it's like, what, we're gonna do this. I wanted to find a way to do it. And I'm all about a theme. I'm all about creating a structure before we get going on anything. So it's just thinking about Journey Fellowship Church, and so much we talked to Karl about fellowship and having snacks and having a meal and sharing all of that. And it's amazing what kind of relationships grow just from sharing a meal together. And then noting back to this podcast called Journey On, I'm like, okay, so we've got this theme. And so GPS was born. Keaton and I were driving home actually from the Fargo grand opening, and I'm like, all right, we're going to do this, need to name it. And, sometimes in life, we need a map. We need
Yeah.
some navigation help, right?
Mhm.
So where do we usually go to when we're trying to find our way somewhere in town? Well, we hit the GPS. Like, that's it. We're GPS. And that stands for grace, praise / purpose / prayer, and sisterhood.
Mm.
So as a group, these ladies, we're going to get together and we're going to just start real slow, because I think you really need to build a rapport with each other, and some trust and some comfort level, so that we can talk about some
Mm.
hard stuff. So we're just gonna start slow,
Mhm.
and we're gonna have dinner at my house. And right now, I'm planning on November 10th. That's tentative, though. I'm out of town just for a couple of hours in Fargo, so I want to make sure I can hightail it back in time to host. We're going to do it at my house, 6:30. We're going to hang out for a couple of hours, and just enjoy a meal together and get to know each other and see what we want from this.
Mm.
And my objectives of over time, that I want to have curated conversations. So based on what Karl talks to us about during the week, okay, how does that message apply to
Mhm.
us as
Mhm.
women? We look to you gentlemen to be the head of the household and to lead our family. Well, how do we
Sure.
also be good leaders and help our husbands be better leaders. I think all of that's important. And Jim and you and I were talking before we started recording that, with growth, I think a lot of times we associate, the church has been wanting to grow. We associate that with numbers, more people. And I think what I've really leaned into and noticed that our growth that I've really noticed has been happening from within. And I think individually and just as a family within each other, we've been growing. And I really want to lean into that. And I think now is the time for us to do that. So GPS, I know a lady that can make a heck of a t-shirt out of GPS. So maybe that'll come too. But it's just all about us. We're going to get together and we're going to lean into each other. I'm going to lean on each other, and we're going to help get through life and build what, similar to the men's group is, and just do it.
Yeah, I love that. I love the fact that you're not trying to force authenticity, because you can't force authenticity. You can't put two people in a room and say, no, be authentic, be deep, be vulnerable. There's a natural thing that has to happen there. And that is honestly key. That's where, when you trust each other, you can ask questions and you can be vulnerable, and that's fantastic. Kudos. I love that.
Well, and also you can challenge each other a little bit too once you've had that. Once you've got that rapport, it's like, hey, I'm asking a question, not to question. I'm asking a question because I'm curious, but I want you to know me well enough that doesn't come across badly. So again, that authenticity and just and I'm not for everybody. I know that, I can be much, and that's okay. And so and I think this is just a good starting place, because maybe there's going to be some other ladies like, what? I love you. I can't meet on this night. I can't do this, but I can do this. So maybe there's a group of us that are going to spur over this way, and that's great. Whatever we need to do to keep that going and just to keep that growth going, we need to do it.
Beautiful.
Fantastic.
I feel like we'd be remiss if we didn't highlight your fingernails. I saw them flash by a couple times.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So you got three of them that are, is it pink or are they? Yeah. And then you got the black ones for Halloween. Was that the?
Pink's my brand color, so gotta have pink.
Oh, gotta have pink. Yeah. Karl, yours
we
are
gotta
fine.
work on you, honey. We gotta work on you.
Well, and then at the matter of fact, because Pam, you couldn't be there for the meeting, you were under the weather yesterday, so your husband Brian was in attendance, and he walked in with a clipboard, so we knew he was all official. But yeah, it was that very sparkly pink clipboard.
Sparkly clipboard. I mean, no meeting is complete without a pink sparkly clipboard.
Oh, matching pen.
Wow.
I mean, I'm all about a theme, right? So
really I have to up my clipboard game. I didn't realize how far down I was. I gotta up it.
Well, your color. What's that?
Get Amazon one to you.
Oh, there you go. Yep. Well, and your color, Karl, is yellow. Do I remember that?
I love yellow.
So a nice sparkly yellow.
Heck yeah. For caution tape, I can do caution tape.
Oh, there you go. Yep, that fits the theme for the season too, right?
For my season. For sure.
So, what we failed to do yesterday, because again, I was not there, was just to gather a list, names and phone numbers and email addresses of ladies that are interested. So please reach out if between now and Sunday when we see each other. Just reach out to me, reach out to Karl. I don't want to blast my information out here on the internet for everyone to get, but please do, so that I can get an idea of who would like to come and find out what communication method everybody likes. If that's a Facebook group or a text group, we're just going to keep it simple. But so yeah, I just want to gather and see who's interested and get together that first time and just see how it feels. And we're going to start once a month. Holidays are coming. Life's going to get crazy. And if we feel like, you know what, I'm ready to do this every other week, or I want to do it once a week, great. But we're going to start. First thing you got to do is with anything, you just got to start. So that's what we're going to do.
Right. Yep. Just get started. Absolutely.
Perfect. Well, that's GPS. Stay tuned. As far as Bismarck is concerned, stay tuned at the services. Watch
Mhm.
the Facebook page. I'm sure we can get information up there.
Mhm.
If there's a change in date or location or anything, we can always post something. Pam, you can let me know. Karl, do you
Yeah.
have access to update the Facebook page? Or I don't think we give you the keys to anything on the internet, do
Yeah, no, nothing
you?
like computer. No.
Nope.
I'm lucky every week I can make this happen. So
You do click buttons and you're here.
there's a
We're
couple
very
buttons and I'm in.
we're very proud of you for doing that for sure. So let's
Thank
talk
you.
about last week's message just real quick. I
Okay.
wanted to do our quick review. We're in Inquiring Minds, and
Yep.
the message that we had last week. Why is Jesus the only way? And this is one of those questions. We have some questions that to me, does God exist? Yes. Why is Jesus the only way? Well, I've grown up knowing that. I've reinforced that over the years. It's a study for me. It just makes sense, and
Yeah.
the people I surround myself accept it also. So, what I heard from you, Karl, was the answer, which was important, right? You went back to Genesis and walked all the way through the New Testament and pointing to do I have the number right? Was it 800
Yeah,
references?
800 references in the Old Testament.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and probably some in the New Testament also that Jesus fulfilled those prophecies. And so I appreciate that. Made great sense. A couple points that I had marked down. John
Yep.
14:6, no one comes to the Father except through me.
Right.
And in my mind, when I think of hell, I think of as a kid, it was the pitchfork and
Mm.
the devil with the horns and the tail
Sure.
and the fire and brimstone. And now, if when I read that now, no one comes to the Father except through me, hell is just not being with God.
Yeah, separation from God. Right.
Separate, that's
Eternity.
yeah,
Mhm.
my soul being in a situation knowing that I can't be with the Father.
Right.
So it's a bit of a different perspective there. And uh, there is only one way to be saved, and that's throughout the Gospels and the letters of the New Testament. I don't know that there's any doubt. And I think the conversation I wanted to have here is if someone is feeling that
Yeah.
after having heard that message, please speak to someone. Pam, you
Right.
talked about that authenticity that we have with each other and building that as a family, whether it's someone that has been with us for a week, someone that watches these and is interested, please come to church and ask the questions. And I think we could do that with each other, whether it's a baby Christian, somebody that's just trying to understand, or someone that's been doing this for 80 years or more. We all have questions and different levels of doubt that may creep up. And the important thing is to get it out of the shadows and into the light and talk about those. Don't keep
Yeah.
wondering yourself. Others wonder about it too. And for my part, one of the things that's important to me is always learning. So I would love someone to ask me, but why? And then let's dig in together and figure out what the answer is. So I kind of wanted to bring that back. That's
Yeah.
probably the most important thing that I took from that message is let's keep this conversation going.
Yeah, absolutely. The reason I'm not scared, and I think one of the things that people might cause people to be tentative about sharing their faith is because there are going to be follow-up questions. I
Mhm.
I don't know anyone who has ever shared the message where someone hasn't said, I have, okay, well then if that's true, how about, right? And
Mhm.
so the fear of not knowing the answer to that could keep somebody from sharing the message, sharing
Yes.
the gospel. I'm not scared of questions because I don't claim to know everything.
Hmm.
Um, in fact, there are so many people that know so much more than I do. What I do have, and we talked about this a little bit this weekend, what I do have is I have the fact that I have a relationship with the resurrected Jesus because one of the things, why is Jesus the only way? And the story I used was we were lost. If you remember, we were lost
Hmm.
in the forest and we come upon a bunch of park rangers that are all dead except one.
Mm.
Well, who are you going to ask? Who are you going to ask how to get out of the forest if only one of them is living? You're going to ask the living one, right? And the reason Jesus is the only way is because he's the only Messiah, the only one to ever claim to be the Messiah who died, because they all did, or
Hmm.
all will, and he came back. He did exactly what he said he was going to do. And so it's the resurrection that's really, really important. And when you meet the resurrected Jesus, if you have a relationship with Jesus today, you have met the resurrected Jesus, and he changes lives. And when you feel that change, when you acknowledge that transformation, yes, people are going to have questions. I have questions.
Mm.
I think we all have questions. God isn't scared of questions. I'm not scared of questions. Neither should you guys be scared. If someone asks a question you don't know, your answer is perfect. That's a great question. Let's find out together.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
have to ask, did you sneak a peek at my preparation notes? Because that was my exact next point.
Oh, sorry.
No, it's great.
No,
No, no, it's fine. We got to talk about it. That
I
was the
am reading
important.
a book on how to read minds. I'm only through the what do they call that?
Gamble.
The joke is gone now. Preface.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'm only on page one,
I've only read
but
the title, but I
yeah,
think I've got it.
exactly.
Yeah. Works with the Bible too, right?
Yeah, right.
But that really is it. It's so comfortable. The three of us right now are having a conversation about our Christianity,
Yeah.
faith, our beliefs, and it's easy. And
Yeah.
we're comfortable doing that with our family, but it can be really scary to talk to someone that has questions that we don't know at this level, or even if we do, really trying to figure out, what the answer might be. And it does come down to the Holy Spirit, and remaining calm and listening. A lot
Right.
of times the question really isn't the question anyway, right? When someone asks, why does God let bad things happen to good people? What are we talking about, right? Why did our songbird lose her voice? Right?
Mm.
Like that's those is if that's the question, okay, let's talk about that. And really dig deep into what's happening. And then coming up this week, we're still in Inquiring Minds. I know we'll be
Yeah.
doing that at least through November and into December for sure.
Now, how do
That
you
will
know
be
that, Jim?
because I don't know, because December. Okay,
That's a
all
great
right.
question. Let's find out
Yeah,
together.
let's find out together. Fine. It's and I really enjoy this. So December 13th and 14th, I get to give a message.
Yeah.
And I don't want to talk about what it is yet. We'll give. So the first teaser is I get to give a message. Maybe in a couple weeks we'll give another teaser on what it'll be
Sure.
about. I'm already diving in and having some conversations, and it's such a blessing to get to do that. So that's the reason. So thank you, and we'll move on. And so I know
All
we're
right.
going that far in Inquiring Minds. And this weekend, last week, well, first week we did Does God Exist? And then we did Why is Jesus the Only Way? And this week, what do we have? How far have we made it into the questions?
Uh, how far have we made it? I don't remember how many questions I sent out. There's
Oh,
almost 2 dozen questions that I compiled
yeah, there's
over
millions
the
of
month or
questions.
so,
Yeah,
and I don't know that we're going to get to. So I'm doing a roundabout way to get to your answer. I will get there. A lot of the questions are very, very similar
right. Yeah.
um, in nature. So if you're saying, why do bad things happen to good people? Why do good things happen to bad people? How does a
Mm.
loving God allow evil? Those
Yeah.
are
Okay.
those are
Okay.
all the same answer.
Hmm.
So that's 3 questions. This week I don't get quite as lucky in being able to combine. Oh, geez, I still have last week's notes up there. Hold on one second. Let me get rid of that because you'd have thought, okay, there it is. So we've talked about does God exist
Hmm.
and why is Jesus the only way? So then the next, I feel, logical step in the questions would be then how do I become saved?
Mm.
And
Good.
we talked a little bit about that last week, and I think we talk a little bit about this every week because it is really important. How do you give your life to Jesus? How do you become saved? How do you become a
Mm.
follower? How do you become a Christian? It's all the same questions. So we're going to look into that, and
So
I'm
will this?
really excited. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I'm going to put you on the spot again because I just had a couple thoughts about this. So I guess
Okay.
this is my week to put the spotlight on you. But how do I become saved? How do I stay saved? How do I get saved again? Because that has happened to many people too. Are
Sure.
those so? If we're talking about questions that kind of pare down into a single
Yeah.
question, are those areas that you're covering here, or is that maybe going? Okay, it is.
Yep.
All right,
Yep. And you're right. So how do I become saved? How do I know I'm saved?
there you go. Yeah, that's the
Yep.
one. Yeah.
How can I have assurance that I'm saved? And because that's all coming from that same area where we like to be assured of stuff, you know.
Mm, hmm.
Um, I guess
Good.
that takes the fun out of gambling, but if we won every time, gambling wouldn't be nearly as much fun, I suppose. But yeah, so we want to know how do I know I'm saved? Well, how do I
Yeah.
become saved? How do I know I'm saved? And we're going to talk a little bit about
Awesome.
all of those things because it's what we want to know. We want to
And
know these things.
And because I read the title to the book that you read, I know that you want people to read Matthew 7 in preparation. That's not true. We talked about it before, but at any rate, I know that Matthew 7 is a great place to read ahead, and I really do encourage folks to do that. I know we talk about it each week, and sometimes it's just a passage, sometimes it's an entire book. We've done that before. This time, Matthew 7. Just skim through it, read it, maybe read the chapter before or after if you're feeling ambitious, but it really does help get us in the right mindset for the service coming up and for the message. And with that, I think that kind of wraps up all the things we wanted to talk about. Pam, I'll just throw it back to you quickly. Anything you thought of that you wanted to cover, or anything else you'd like to say before we wind down?
I think not in regard to GPS, kind of more about just this conversation in general. I remember someone had, we're the church for the unchurched, but once you start coming to church, you're not unchurched anymore. But like for me, I didn't grow up in church. I grew up singing about the church because I've got decades of being a vocal performance and being in classical music and understanding it that way, but I don't understand anything else. So to have a forum like this, or to have church like we've got it, where, okay, I don't understand this, we can ask the question and not feel like I should know the answer because, well, I'm in my 50s, I've been doing this for a while, I don't know. And I love that we've got a place to go to ask questions and not feel dumb,
right?
And not feel like you should know. It's just, I love being vulnerable and being okay with that and knowing that I'm accepted, and it's okay to ask the question and not be judged for that. So thank you for giving us that.
Amen.
Absolutely.
And with that, Karl, do you have any final thoughts for us as we wind down?
I do have some final thoughts. And actually, Pam probably was reading my notes because like Jim, you're a good transitioner, but I think Pam might have you this week.
Nice.
My final thought is exactly on what we've been talking about. So we always encourage people. Every week we encourage people to pray and to read their Bibles, right? And ask questions and talk with each other and all that stuff. And this week I'm going to stretch that just a little bit, because part of growth is if you only read the rule book, and never get out and play the game, there are things that don't make sense until you start trying to apply those. And so I would really encourage people to step outside their comfort zone and I'm going to throw a bunch of challenges out there. Either talk with somebody about their faith, that maybe it's a family member, maybe it's a friend. Take that first step and say, hey, I want to tell you about something. And maybe it's even somebody you go to church with. Just get that started. Say, I want to tell you about Jesus Christ. Well, I already know about Jesus Christ, but I want to tell you, I want to do it. Or another way is if you're reading through the Bible and something doesn't make sense, to answer that question, try and answer that question. And I've talked to quite a few people in Bismarck and quite a few people in Fargo. There's a lot of different resources. If anybody has my phone number, which I will gladly give to anybody that wants it, and it is actually the phone number for the church.
Right.
So I will answer. And there are commentaries. There are apologists that I trust. There are other pastors that I trust. There are resources. There's some authors that I love and trust. And so you can find those answers. And Jim, I think you'll probably agree with me. When you really dig in, it is so rewarding. So rewarding when you dig in and start answering those questions, and they're not just given to you. One of the best teachers I ever had was Pastor Reynolds, and you'd ask him a question and he would always make you find the answer yourself. He'd guide you, but you found the answer yourself. And I love that, So that's the challenge.
Excellent. Love the challenge. And I have a question. What's an apologist?
Oh, an apologist. Well, a Christian apologist specifically is somebody who fights for, verbally debates for the existence of God, the power of Christianity, the salvation. Somebody who basically, if you think about it, they're a debater, and their side is always on the side of God.
I would like to have an assistant that would be that. Someone that could be my apologist, because
a Jim apologist.
Yeah, I need not for my
not for you.
Not for me. I mean for the Bible. I want as I said that, I thought that would also be nice. Okay, I need two apologists. Well, wait, I need three. No more than a dozen apologists walking around behind me. That's my new entourage. But no, the idea of someone that can be really good at debating, I think that's a gift that we might be given, and I admire those that have it. So, all right, well, thank you for that. See, we answer the questions always. And thank you, Pam. Thank you, Pastor Karl, and thank you to everybody that watches and shares. Let's keep getting the word out and continue to grow ourselves and our family. And until we see you, take care, get some rest, and God bless.
Thank you.